If you're gonna see this one in theaters, don't get popcorn, just saying, or soda. The Whale. So The Whale is based off of a play written by Samuel D. Hunter, and this movie is directed by Darren Aronofsky. He's the director of Requiem for a Dream, Black Swan, Mother, Noah. And I'll be honest with you, full transparency, cards on the table, this is the very first movie I've ever seen directed by Darren Aronofsky. Yeah, those movies I just listed, I haven't seen any of them. This movie stars Brendan Fraser as a man named Charlie. He's extremely overweight, his life is not the best. He's a recluse, and he just discovered that he doesn't have that much longer to live. So he's gonna try to get his life together, he's gonna try to get his affairs in order before he goes. He's gonna try patching things up with his estranged daughter, played by Sadie Sink from Stranger Things, and now we have our 2-hour drama. Now, of course, Brendan Fraser was great in this movie. There's all this buzz about him. He's what got this movie a 6-minute standing ovation at whatever film festival it premiered at. And it's true, he is really good in the movie. Because you watch it and you just cannot help but pity him. He's just this broken man. His whole life has gone downhill, and we do learn what happened in his life to get him to this point. And so he gained all that weight. I actually read that Brendan Fraser spent 4 hours in makeup getting that 300-pound prosthetic suit on every day when filming this. Props to that. Because you can easily see that life is really stressful for him. He can't even walk right. He needs a walker just to help himself walk. He wheezes. He's just in really bad shape. We've all seen people like that where you just can't help but feel sorry for them. You do feel bad for him in this movie. Hong Chow plays his caretaker. She's actually getting her name out there. I'm hearing her name more and more these days. She's really good in this movie because she's more than just his caretaker. She's his friend. She cares about him, and there are scenes where she's like, dude, you need to go to the hospital to fix up your life. And arguments ensue from there. There are a couple of scenes where she does have to squeak out some tears. She's great. And of course, Sadie Sink, awesome in this movie. What I say in my videos about Stranger Things 4 this year, I said, yeah, she's a great up-and-coming actress. I want to see her in more things because her career's gonna blossom. Look at that, now she's in a Darren Aronofsky movie. And she's great because I hated her character. You're supposed to dislike this character because she's just this hateful, bitter kid. She's pissed off at the world, she doesn't like anything. So when her father is trying to reach out, she's like, yeah, fuck that. She comes over anyway, but you can tell she's like, I don't want to be here. Although the problem was, for the longest time throughout the movie, I was like, yeah, I don't like your character. Not that Sadie Sink was bad, but the character herself, I don't like her. I don't like hateful, bitter people, I guess. But of course, no spoilers, but in the end, I was fine with it. I'll say that. And also, Ty Simpkins is in this movie. It actually took me a while for me to realize that was him. Like, halfway through the movie, I was looking at his face and I was like, holy crap, that's the kid from Iron Man 3. Wow, great for him for getting more work. And he was great in this movie too. The unfortunate thing is that no matter how great everyone was in this movie, I just could not get around the fact, and the movie knows this because it plays that to its strength, but the fact remains that this movie is a downer. This movie is depressing as hell. It's tough to watch. I mean, there are scenes where Brendan Fraser is just guzzling down this food, and I was like, I can't watch this. I actually had to shield my eyes at a couple of scenes, which is weird, because it wasn't nothing like violent or anything, you know? It wasn't particularly like bad or graphic. It was graphic eating is what it was, if I can describe it like that. Does that make any sense? The movie does a really good job at playing up that emotion that this man is just killing himself. He's self-destructive. He's going down this spiral where his life just gets worse and worse. He eats more and more. And I found myself going, why am I watching this? Granted, again, I know this movie's going for the Oscar bait. If you don't know me by now, this movie is not normally the kind of movie that I prefer to watch. I like the fun stuff, you know, I like the Avengers. But of course, going into this movie, I knew it wasn't gonna be the Avengers. It's a heavy drama. No pun intended. And granted, there are some great scenes in this movie too. There's some great dialogue in here. Some scenes where Brendan Fraser is hashing things out with his daughter, and also with Samantha Morton, who plays Sadie Sink's mother, Charlie's ex-wife. Those scenes actually, to me, with her, were like some of the best dialogue scenes in the movie. Because again, they're just hashing things out. And actually, now that I think about it, this is a bottle film. For those of you who don't know what that term means, a bottle film is a film that takes place in only one location throughout. This film only takes place in Charlie's apartment. And there's something about that I really like. It keeps it really simple, actually, that's what I liked about it. The movie is really simple, it's easy to understand, it's accessible. All that's really happening is that this man wants to get his life in order before he goes. That's it, that's the movie. It's really heavy on dialogue, it's dialogue based. It's not trying to be anything else. And it does get its message across very well. Because the whole time you're watching it, you're like, I do not want to end up like this. That's very real. It's a very realistic movie, like I can actually see this happening in our world. There's absolutely nothing unrealistic about it. in that it's pretty relatable. There is an odd thing about this movie though, in that it's in 4:3 aspect ratio. Why is it 4:3? I have no idea. Seriously, I've thought about it and I can't give you a good reason why this shouldn't have been in widescreen or full screen 16:9. 4:3 is outdated. Why is it like that? I don't know. Maybe it's to help illustrate that this man is just trapped in a metaphorical box. But we would have gotten that point in any aspect ratio. So why 4:3? I don't know. As for the score was composed by Rob Simonson, and it did its job for the movie. I mean, during the really tough scenes to watch, there would be these low strings, which really did add to the vibe. I was like, yeah, okay, this is supposed to be like a grim scene. The score is really sad throughout, really minor all the time. It almost kind of reminded me of the score for Joker, which isn't a bad thing, that score is awesome. But it served the same kind of purpose. I'm probably never going to go out of my way to listen to it, but it did its job really well. So in the end, this is a short review for a really simple movie. All the acting was really good, but the movie is just depressing as fuck to watch. You feel bad to the point where you're like, why am I watching this? Or at least that's what I went through. Again, maybe I'm not the target demographic for this movie. It's probably trying to be Oscar bait, which Brendan Fraser is probably going to get nominated for the Oscar. I know he's already nominated for the Golden Globe, and he might just win. In fact, this movie is the comeback he deserves after everything he's been through. What I'll say is know yourself. If this movie doesn't seem appealing to you, then skip it. If you're one of those types who's like, yes, I'm looking for a tour de force of a film, a demonstration of pure beauty and art, then I'll say check this one out. But for me personally, and people like me, for The Whale, I will say, wait until this movie's at a discount price, then go see it. I want to give this movie its credit where it's due. It did some things really well. It just wasn't for me. So The Whale, have you seen it yet? What are your thoughts on it? And what's your favorite Darren Aronofsky movie of all time? Like, if I were to try getting into his movies, what would you recommend to start? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Now, if you'll excuse me, tonight is the 4th night of Hanukkah. And I want to say Happy Hanukkah to all my Jewish friends out there. Hope it's going great so far. Peace!